24th. I call to order the meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals for March 24th, 2022. Please call the roll for me.
Ballard. Present. Burrell.
Here.
Throckmorton.
Was that me? Yes, I'm here.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't have my packet in front of me.
Okay.
Did we have minutes to approve?
We do not have minutes.
We do not? Okay.
You want me to give him this one?
So,
Do you want, sorry, Joe, do you want a paper packet?
yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Uh-huh. Thanks, Carmen.
Enter into the minutes. I apologize for being late. It took me longer to get back from Indianapolis from a job than I expected, so.
Thanks for coming in.
So thank you for your patience. All right, so reports, resolutions, and communications. We have, I believe you said we have 2 today,
Correct.
and the first being, is it correct, case V-0522?
Correct.
So without approval of minutes or the need for that, and I see nothing else is being continued, correct?
We have one continuance on the agenda.
Which page is that?
It should be second page. Petitions continued to April 21st is V0422. It's a sign. I think it's on the back of your first page. It's double printed.
The agenda.
Thank you. Okay, I see it here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we do have a continuation then. That's V-0422.
Correct.
Okay, so we do have one continuation. And the petitions to be heard tonight is, as I said, V-0522, which is Hiram Patel, and V-0622, which is Jericho Management. So with that, let's move to the first petition, which is V-0522, Hiram Patel. Could we have a report, please, from the staff?
Great, thank you. Jackie Scanlon, Development Services Manager. Our first petition tonight, V-0522, is a request for a variance from tree preservation standards. The property is located at 4500 East 3rd Street. Some of you have seen this in different, for different petition requests. It is located at 3rd and 446. You can see it outlined here in red. The petitioner received major site plan approval under SP 1821, and they are planning to do a 176-unit multifamily development. They were also showing self-storage on the back of the property when they originally went to Plan Commission. They are planning to potentially phase that and not build that with Phase 1. That will change slightly some of their landscaping requirements, but other than that, it's fine for them to do that. When the site plan went through Plan Commission, they were showing a connection from 3rd Street through the property to 446, out onto 446, exiting on the east side of the property. Just one second here. Okay, sorry. And that was approved as part of the site plan. So this property used to be in a plan unit development. When the petitioners requested a rezone to a regular typical zoning district of MC in advance of the full map update that we did, they are required to, through that petition, record a zoning commitment for tree preservation easement of some of the trees on the southeast portion of this lot. So that was done, that was a requirement of that petition. We will have to confirm tonight whether or not that has been done. If that has been done, that zoning commitment will have to be amended through the Plan Commission if this variance is approved and the reduced area for preservation is allowed. So you can see zoomed in here, this is the area of tree preservation that is required. There is approximately 44,000 square feet of tree canopy, which is a little bit less than 10% of the property total. And the UDO requires that 90% of those existing trees be preserved, which only allows for about 4,400 square feet of disturbance allowed. And so you can see that kind of shown here. This was the site plan that went to Plan Commission. They will be doing, they worked with Bloomington Transit to allow for a bus stop and pedestrian connection to the Knightridge Apartments, which are to the south of here. Currently, the bus turns at the corner of 3rd and 446 and then turns around in the Knightridge lot. With the new design of this development, the bus will actually come onto this site and have 2 bus stops, one on the site and one on the southern end, and then loop back around to leave. So definitely improved improvement for the BT, for this BT line. The issue is, again, that the trees, the disturbance required for all of these improvements, including the bus stop and the roadway, is in excess of what code allows. So the petitioner is requesting to disturb an additional 5,700 square feet of disturbance. I believe it's actually 5,716. They have proposed, submitted a proposal of a 2-to-1 mitigation plan to offset the requested variance to plant an additional 11,432 square foot area of trees on the site. So basically what we have seen work well in the past is that if tree preservation areas need to be disturbed, that if there is extra room on the site, and obviously this site is quite large, slightly over 10.5 acres, then a mitigation plan can be submitted and reviewed by the department to help bring about those missing trees, double the amount in other locations on the site. So I have other drawings if you'd like to see them. This is the landscape plan. You can see the mitigation area here, immediately adjacent to the tree preservation area, but just adding more trees to the west. And a zoom in of that. So the department found that granting the variance to allow disturbance within this tree preservation area is necessary to allow for a through connection on the site for the driveway. We have found, when discussing with the petitioners, this petition and previous ones on this site, that connection through the site so that there can be access not only for Bloomington Transit, but also for residents of the site through the property is integral to the property functioning well, and so that not all users of the property have to exit out onto 3rd Street. Additionally, there is a north-south road on the transportation plan here. With the site plan that the petitioners are doing, they don't have to dedicate right-of-way, but they are building that driveway to road standards so that if they go to subdivide in the future, which would require right-of-way dedication, that will already be prepared to then become a public road to make that connection. Additionally, the department found no adverse impacts. This will be, as I mentioned, a positive for the Bloomington Transit connection as well as users of the site and potentially become a public road in the future. With the 2-to-1 mitigation plan, we think that is also a positive for the site in particular. And then the final findings here is that the department finds that strict applications of the UDO do result in practical uses of the practical difficulties in the use of the site, as holding the property to the standard of the current UDO tree preservation would not allow any connection at all to the east to 446. Development of the site ideally really does need 2 connections, this tree line in particular is in the way. And so we are asking that you allow variance for the minimum amount of disturbance to be done so that the trees and associated sidewalk and bus stop can be put in on the southern portion of the lot, requiring the 2-to-1 mitigation immediately to the west of the existing trees. So the department recommends that the BZA adopt the proposed findings and approve B0522 with 4 conditions. The variance is for the driveway location and cross-section as we already have submitted and came through with the site plan and grading permit request as well. Any new road design or placement would require new variance. All trees shown for mitigation must be planted prior to recommendation for occupancy for the site, so they will need to be done with the actual installation of mitigation before they can use the buildings on the site. We are included a minimum height or a minimum circumference for the trees of 2 inches, and that a tree preservation easement is required for the area to be preserved, including the mitigation area. So that area where they will be including the new trees at a 2-to-1 ratio will now also become protected, increasing so that we won't actually be losing as much square footage as we had before, and those trees will be able to grow to maturity. This will be recorded at the Monroe County Recorder's Office prior to recommendation for issuance of final occupancy as well. And again, as I mentioned, I am slightly unclear covering this for Mr. Grulich, whether or not the zoning commitment related to the rezone was ever recorded. Just so you know, if it was, they will have to amend that with the Plan Commission, and if it wasn't, then we will have them record that based on whatever is approved or not approved tonight, the size of the preservation area. And I can answer any questions.
Jackie, thank you for that staff report. Is there a representative for the petitioner present today? If so, please come to the podium, and I'll ask you to state your name, and then I'll swear you in.
Good evening. My name is Josh Rogers, Constructor Point.
Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You have 20 minutes. You don't need to take all 20 now. You can also reserve part of that time for later.
Do you have it digitally?
I emailed it to Eric today,
Oh.
but it's on vacation.
Sure. Is this different than what I showed?
Yeah, it's slightly updated based on conversations that we've had in the last couple days.
Okay. I can try. I might be able to project it. I don't think I can project it into the Zoom, so I don't think I can show it. I can project it into this room. Let me see if I can get a hold of Mike.
Would it be acceptable to just pass that through the 3 members on the board, and then we could return it?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Is that okay? If so, Josh, you can approach and
Yeah, let me see if I can. You go ahead.
yeah, we'll just
So this is just
glance at it very quickly, and
That's,
it looks like it's the
an updated landscape plan based on conversations that Eric Ruth and I have had in the last few days. I appreciate the background on the project, so I'll kind of try to spare you all the details again on that. I think I wanted to explain a little more detail the purpose of the excess tree.
Oh, I think I can-
removal for the constructability, not necessarily
Thanks, Joe.
the design.
I might be able to do it.
The design looking at a plan view is really to allow the contractor to have space to put excavators in, to give them room to actually work, and to tie the grade in and to get those utilities, especially through drainage culvert that shown on that plan. That's the primary reason why we're having.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I think you're Mike.
and also, just pause there. Could you, Jackie, could you interrupt that last graphic, which is very similar to this, and we realize it's different.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that sounds better. I just wanted to read the reasoning behind the excess tree removal is mainly due to construction means and methods rather than design at this point. Just to allow the contractor to have space to put excavators, to allow us to tie a grade in, to allow us to extend the through drainage culvert from Knights Ridge to the south. So for constructability reasons, we would be removing the trees in excess of what is allowed in this case, but we would be then mitigating that at a 2-to-1 ratio. As Jackie previously mentioned, approximately 11,400 square feet would be the mitigation area. The specific trees would be all hardwood species, native species of hickory and oak. There would be no pine or evergreens associated with this. More specifics with that would be 16 to 18 feet on center, so we're overplanting this a little bit, assuming that some of these trees are going to die out in the future. And the reason I wanted to share this today, Eric Grulich and I have been talking about the specifics of the easement and the actual shape of the mitigation area, and related to the previous discussion of this road may be being dedicated right-of-way at some point in the future. He wanted to see the typical 40-foot center spacing adjacent to the road. So we have reshaped the easement, which is the blue line that you're seeing here, and the mitigation area, which is highlighted in green, to allow that 40-foot spacing adjacent to the road without the mitigation area ever being touched by the right-of-way, any future right-of-way that may occur. So I would also like to make a note on the easement itself. The easement has not been recorded that is associated with the rezone on this. So part of the effort of this project is to figure out what that easement looks like. So that's what we're doing right now. So once that easement is decided on between our discussions with staff, we will then record that easement based on the approved documents.
Okay, thank you. And you can retain the remainder of your time for further statements. Now, I'd ask you to stay there. We're going to come to the board for questions, and they'll direct it to either you or staff. What I would ask is that if it's not directed to you, don't answer. We'll try to be very clear about who it is we're asking the questions of, okay? So with that, we'll turn it over to the board for any questions for the petitioner or staff. Any? Okay. Seeing that we have none, is there anyone from the public, and are they also online tonight? So let's see if there's anyone who would like to speak to the petition.
Any messages or hand raises? If you're in the Zoom meeting and you'd like to speak to the petition as a member of the public, you can turn on the raise hand function or send a chat to Jacqueline Scanlon, and we can give you a minute. I don't think there are any members of the public who aren't petitioner related in the meeting.
Seeing none online or seeing none in the chamber, we will come to the petitioner for any final comments if you have anything to add.
I don't think I have anything further to add.
Okay, thank you. Back to the board for action. I would look for further discussion or a motion, please.
I motion to approve V-05-22 with the following conditions. Number one, this variance is for the driveway location and cross-section as submitted. Any new road design or replacement will require a new variance. Number two, all trees shown for mitigation must be planted prior to recommendation of issuance of a final occupancy permit. Number three, all trees shown for mitigation must be a minimum of 2 inches in diameter. Number four, a tree preservation easement is required for the area to be preserved, including the mitigation area. This must be recorded prior to the recommendation of issuance of a final occupancy.
Do I have a second? Is there any further motion, any further discussion before we call the roll? No? Please call the roll for the vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yep, the motion passes. The petition is granted. Thank you for your patience. With that, we will move on to variance 06-22. This is the Jericho Management, requesting variance from development standards to allow vehicular drive access to be located on North Monroe Street. And it looks like who's going to give that report from staff? Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Just state
Yeah.
say who you are for the people listening online.
Okay. My name is Karina Pazos.
When you're ready, we can go ahead with the staff report.
Okay. Yeah, so this location is at 1111 West 17th Street.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry. Can you hear me there? Okay. This location is at 1111 West 17th Street. and it's 2.98 acres. The zoning is mixed-use neighborhood scale. Its comprehensive plan designation is urban corridor, and its existing land use is artisan manufacturing. And actually, can't see my notes on here. Sorry, do you have a packet printout that I could read from? Or maybe I don't need to. Yeah, okay, so basically the petitioner is requesting to use the existing driveway that's off of North Monroe Street. And this would be a variance from the development standards to allow that drive access to be located on North Monroe Street because the UDO, the Unified Development Ordinance, requires that the drive access is on the lower classified street, which currently is 17th Street. Let's see if I can. So the property is being redeveloped and full compliance with the Unified Development Ordinance has been triggered. The petitioner is proposing to continue to use the existing drive access. The UDO requires for non-residential corner lots, drive access shall be located on the street with the lower functional classification, which, as I stated, West 17th Street is currently assigned lower functional classification, as the classifications were designated before the expansion of 17th Street. So the road classification for 17th Street will likely change to reflect a higher classification than North Monroe Street due to the completion of the Trinitas multifamily development and the expansion of the road to the west of the site. So the width of the existing drive along North Monroe Street is allowed through approval of the city engineer and would allow for manufacturing, shipping, and deliveries necessary for the proposed upgrade of the existing facility. The current driveway was upgraded with the roundabout at 17th and Monroe. And the department has worked with the engineering department to ensure that the existing location can continue to be used safely. So this is the site plan that was provided, and as you can see, the location of the existing driveway just south of the roundabout. I believe there is another driveway off of 17th Street on the west side of the property, but with the facility upgrade that would be removed. And the department has found that no injury, there would be no injury with the allowance of drive access to be located on North Monroe Street, as the design of the street functions as the lower classification, which the Unified Development Ordinance prefers. There is also no adverse impacts to the use and value of the surrounding area associated with the proposed variance. The variance is not expected to have off-site negative consequences, as it will continue the existing design that was determined in conjunction with the engineering department. And practical difficulties are found in the use of the property because the property has a significant change in elevation along West 17th Street that would require a 12% drive slope, which is in excess of a safe access parameter. Because of the adjacency to the roundabout, the property has unique access issues, and access from Monroe Street at the current location is the safest location to locate a driveway. Additionally, because the property is immediately adjacent to a roadway that was greatly upgraded recently, holding the property to the requirements set before the upgrade is burdensome. The petitioner has supplied sufficient data or reasoning indicating that there are practical difficulties in the use of the site and that a variance is necessary for relief. So based upon the written report and findings of fact above, the department recommends that the Board of Zoning Appeals adopts the proposed findings and approves V-06-22 with the following condition, that this variance approves allowing one vehicular entrance on North Monroe Street. No other variance is approved. And I believe the petitioner, Jeff Fanio, is present.
Present online, okay. So does that conclude your report?
Yes.
Thank you for that. And I would ask, I believe you're telling me that the petitioner is online and would like to speak to the petition. Could I have the petitioner state your name, and after I get your name, I'll swear you in?
My name is Jeffrey S. Fanio of Bynum Fanio and Associates.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And are we going to go video on that, or are we just going to have? Thank you. Okay. So again, you have 20 minutes to present your petition uninterrupted. You do not need to use all your time. After some questioning, we can certainly let you use the remainder of your time. I don't want you to feel you need to use it all at this point. But if you would like, you have up to 20 minutes.
I won't need that much time. Karina has done a good job of explaining the need for this variance. We have a topography issue with connecting to 17th Street. And for that reason, we've requested to be able to utilize the entrance that's been there for several generations of this company. I really have nothing further to add. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. We'll retain the remainder of your time in case you choose to use it. Before coming, I'm sorry, any questions from the board for the petitioner? And then we'll go to the public.
Yes, I have a question.
Please.
The question is for staff. If I understand correctly, engineering has looked at the location of this driveway and have considered it safe?
Yes, that's correct. We've discussed it with the city engineer, and we've looked at if it was necessary to move the driveway south, but the city engineer approved the location.
Okay. No further questions then.
I have a question for the petitioner. I want to be a little more clear. I was a little cloudy on some of this. You will have, in the end, two entrances, one on 17th and one on Morton. Is that correct?
That's incorrect. We're removing this access drive on 17th Street, so the sole access will be from Monroe.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard, but I was unsure of that. I wanted to make sure that was clear. Any other questions? If not, we'll open it up to the public. Is anyone online who would like to address this petition?
No, we don't have any hands raised or messages. I don't think anyone from the public.
Thank you. With that, are there any final comments from the petitioner before we go to the board for action?
I have no further comments.
All right, thank you. Back to the board for action, further discussion first if you'd like, or we'll accept a motion. Any comments? Would anyone like to make a motion?
Sure, I'll move that the board adopts the proposed findings and approves V-06-22 with the one condition that this variance approves allowing one vehicular entrance on North Monroe Street, and no other variance is approved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll. Yes.
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 Motion passes. The petition is granted. Thank you for your patience. And is there any other business before this board? Seeing none, we are adjourned.
Thank you.